it's Nancy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Wishes and Weeds. We're partway through a new series about brown paper packaging and taking brown packaging to beautiful. So I want to finish this page off. If you haven't seen me creating this page, you're going to have to go back and look at some former videos. This has a full page pocket and some layers of different fabrics. This one has an envelope that I made from brown paper, and my cord is hanging. And on the back I have two big pockets made from brown paper and scrap lace. This is going to be very simple, and I'm only going to make one of them. So I have some brown paper that I've glued together, and I want to make a fairly big pocket. So I think that's probably about the size that I want. Oh, it didn't tear very cleanly. I guess I'm going to have to cut. Oh, that's terrible. Because I don't know where my knife is. Well, rats. I have no idea how big this is. Just about 4 inches. So I'm going to find the center there. Cut a partial hole. And you see, this is the perforated, not perforated, yeah, perforated edge at the top. So it sort of looks paper baggy-ish. Okay, now I have a piece of this curtain. And I'm just going to cover this front with glue. I will be doing some stitching, so I'm not too concerned with making sure that it's too secure. Okay. I just kind of like the look of that tear instead of a sharp cut. I'm going to glue it there. And I'll let that dry for a sec. Now I am, as I said, I'm going to sew, but I'm going to sew on this page before I glue it to the brown paper. This is from an old Ministry of Agriculture communication of some kind. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna sew. I'm just pressing my stitches down. Bringing both sides of the thread to the back. Some people like hanging threads. You do you. I like hanging threads. I just feel like other people don't. I'm working on my perfectionism. I swear I am. Yeah, I'm not tying knots because it'll just cause a bump. And besides, tape is a lot faster. Perfect. There's sort of a frame there with the stitching from the pockets on the other side, these pockets. Okay, I'm gonna have to find something to put in there. Maybe I'll make a card. Yes, I just might do that. Okay, so that'll be another brown paper packaging project. What I've got in mind for this one is something that I saw on Instagram recently. I need a I want one that's mostly words, not pictures. Hey, this is the perfect height. Well, so I made this card. I saw this on an Instagram yesterday. Not someone I have seen on YouTube before, but she does have a YouTube channel. Her name is LilyLuLou Junk Journal Geek. And I just checked, and she did have a video 2 days ago. I'll share the link before. It's called Using Leftovers to Make Ephemera. So I was inspired by the photo. So what I've got here, it's got brown paper, and I glued it onto scrapbook, like, you know, that old newsprinty kind of scrapbook paper. And this is an encyclopedia. I don't know from where or when, but I'm gonna tear that margin off. And I do want it to be just a smidge smaller. So just the tiniest of frame. Okay. So I'm going to glue this down in place. I sure am. The lady's name is Karen. I haven't watched the video yet, but I've got it pulled up here so I can watch it. Sounds like a British accent. No expert on the subject, but okay. Now that's really, really old paper, so I don't want to be too rough with it. Now, what I did, this was the leftover of the brown paper that was glued to the French magazine. So I just cut it into strips and then used a edge punch. I can do either side, it doesn't matter. I think I'll do this one though. Just touching the edge of this scallop. So the picture on Instagram, it looks like she had mostly birds. I'm going to say they were all birds, but I'm not 100%. But I decided to pull out this picture of a peony, and I fussy cut that. And I'm just going to line this up right with the edge. And I can cut that off. And just touching the edge. And now that I said UK, British, might be Australian? I don't know. I think I'd have to listen for a few minutes. She has it's either 897 or 997 subscribers. And $282 videos. So I'll have to give her a look-see. Now I might want to put a label on there. I do have some. What are these? These are field note snippets. Or maybe. What if I do something like that? this some good coverage. It's pretty heavy paper. Okay, I'll just put that aside to stitch. Let's grab another one. This is it's called the World Cyclopedia and Library. (1884). So that's an oldie. I had a ruler. Okay. Just trying to decide which one I like better. I kind of like this side better. All right, now this one's a slightly different punched edge. I might be too low for you to see. Oop. These measure, they're 3 inches wide and they're about 5 1/4, 5 3/8 long. I just cut them a shape that I thought would be really good. Okay, I have this bird, but I want to cut the little section there between his little birdie feet. This kind of white piece here is a little thick. Okay. I hear Doug moving around. He's definitely going to come to the stairs and haul her down, so hold on. The reason I picked this one is because I have some blue stamps here that I want to use. There, got his itty bitty birdie feet. I'm going to see if I have a flower that's kind of that color. Hang on. I did find this one. I'm just going to sort of trim it out a bit here and put it in place to see if this is really what I want to use before I go spending all that time doing the cutting, you know. I think I'm going to do it. I don't know that the stamps are going to be necessary anymore. Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to fussy cut though. Okay. So I turned on Karen's video and watched it, a little bit of it. I think I'm about 15 minutes into it. And I've determined she's definitely British. Now I've heard enough, but she mentioned that she's going home to see her daughters and grandchildren, or daughter and grandchildren. I'm not sure. So there's another clue. So she lives someplace else. That's just the label that was under the picture in the book. This picture came from, there's a Time Life series from, I don't know, the 70s, definitely, that I see all the time in the thrift stores. And there's some that you should always get. If you can get it for $1 or $2, there's definitely enough fodder there for the money. So the roses are particularly nice. This blue flower came from the Wildflower book. Bulbs, perennials, annuals, they're all separate books. They have a brown spine and they're not very wide, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And it must have been, you know, one of those subscription kinds of things. That's nice. I like you. The birds, I don't know where they came from. I could have fussy cut this 5 years ago. But there's always lots of bird books out there. I don't think I will stitch him. Well, I particularly won't stitch him right now because the thread that I have in there is that brownie reddy color. But let's do another one. What a fantastic book. And then that's all I'll be able to do tonight because I don't have any more. I just have this last piece of the punched paper. And there's no sense me even trying to punch a single layer of paper. It never works for me. And you certainly can't punch paper that's wet with glue. Oh, this one I got a bit too much of a frame, but you know what? I can move it right over because this edge will be covered anyway, right? I just want the barest hint. The other day I mentioned a new book I was reading, Yeah, I was just considering whether I wanted to put the punch trim on the opposite side this time, but I don't. Anyway, I did, in the video where I was talking about the book, I did correct the information I talked about. So, yes, the book is a sequel to Brooklyn that was, oh, I don't know, a couple years ago. There was and I mentioned there was a movie. So that's accurate. And the other book that I just completed was the one about the gentleman who survived the Holocaust. That was called, not what I told you it was. Now I can't remember what it was. Anyway, his name is Max Eisen, E-I-S-E-N. It has the word chance in it. I want to say it's a matter of chance, but I don't think that's right. But I did put it in the description of my video from whenever it was I talked about that book. But I do have the author correct, so. Okay. Now, I don't like him. Well, I do like him, but not that way. Well, you're quite excellent. You are. I also like that chickadee. I also like this one with the pink flowers. Too small. Too small. I'm going to cut that little window out. That just seemed a little too thick there. Okay. flashbang. Let me just tidy this up a little bit. Now, what can I use here? Don't know if this is going to be, no, a little too fussy. Come on, you. Yeah, let's get that down before I change my mind. Now, of course, I won't use all of these little bits in my current journal, but it's always nice to have some things made ahead. And for the purposes of a video, it's nice to see, you know, at least for me, I enjoy watching the process of, you know, choosing how to decorate things and what works. And you know, sometimes it's hard to explain why certain things work and don't work. They just do or they don't. You know what I mean. I'm sure there's some logic and theory and science. I have none of those things. Nope. Maybe I will get a stamp though. It's possible I have yellow. It might be my only yellow stamp. There's a little windmill, but this is also American. It says it's in Rhode Island. Having one last quick look-see. Lots of brown and orange in here. Well, there's a yellow, but oh, what's this? Texas, 1890. So that matches with that one. I have no idea what that says. I'm gonna go with this one. I think that works. Oh shoot. Just about had an incident. I wonder where this comes from. Military post, 3 hellers. In the 3 hellers kind of pick up the red in his itty bitty birdie feet. Alright, so we got a couple done there. So today we did this pocket. I made this tag off camera. And now I have these 3 that I can save for another day. This one and this one for sure I'm going to sew. These 2 I'm not so sure about. Anyway, I hope you thought this was kind of interesting. I hope you'll also go over and see Karen's video. Give her a like and some appreciation. And come back again soon. I have more ideas that I want to share with you. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.